Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's video is going to be all about Mercari and my 5 tips on ways to sell more items on the platform. If you are newer to my channel, welcome. I would be so happy to have you subscribe and stick around. I have a bunch of videos about Poshmark and Mercari and just how to be a better reseller to make more money and have that great successful side hustle. So today's video, I'm going to talk all about Mercari and the things that I have done to sell more items on the platform. I primarily sell on Poshmark, but I do sell on Mercari as well. I cross-list from Poshmark to Mercari, so I get super excited when I sell on Mercari, and I feel like I have some valuable tips and tricks for you all to help you sell more items as well. So without further ado, let's get into our very first tip. Tip number 1 is increasing the amount of items that you list on the Mercari platform. And obviously this is something that probably goes across all platforms. You want to always increase the amount that you are listing, because the more items that you have listed, the more opportunity for you to make more money, and typically the algorithm picks that up and puts your listings much higher. But it's a little bit different on Mercari. So on Mercari, you don't have the option to share your items that are in your closet, where on Poshmark, you have the option to share your items, which then refreshes them and gets them higher on the search engine when people are looking for those specific items. For example, on Mercari, when you list an item, that item automatically gets to the top of the search. So for example, if I post Nike sneakers and I list those right away, then when someone is looking up Nike sneakers, my listing on Mercari is going to be seen first. Now, a month from now, my item is not going to be seen first because it was listed 1 month ago. So someone on today's date, that item will be shown in the search engine higher than what mine would be, because mine was listed a month ago. Now on Poshmark, that is a different situation because you are able to share the item. So when you share the item, it gets higher on the search engine. So therefore, you don't have to relist the item. My point being for tip number 1 is to relist any of the items that are considered stale in your closet. And stale basically just means that it's been sitting in your closet for a long time. Therefore, it's not getting the visibility that you need for that item to sell because it is stale. It's been sitting for too long. It's not showing up higher on the search engine. And that is one thing that I've noticed about Mercari that's very, very different than, well, I should say, relatively different than Poshmark, is that as soon as the item is posted on Mercari, there is such a better chance for it to sell versus with Poshmark, an item can sell whether it's listed right away or not. But on Mercari, in my experience personally, I have noticed that when I sell an item, it's always within like a 24-hour to 48-hour period as soon as I list that item that it sells. That's not the case with Poshmark. It always takes me a couple of days or weeks for the items to sell, sometimes even months for the item to sell, even if I'm sharing it, relisting it, anything like that. But with Mercari, it's always within that 24 to 48-hour period. It never is, a month from now, 2 months from now. So that's one of my biggest tips would be is just to relist your items, and obviously list as many items every day that you possibly can. And if you don't have enough inventory, like I don't have enough inventory to list every single day, my other tip would be to relist items that you already have that are stale in your closet. My second tip is to do as much research as possible on what items are selling the most right now. What are selling at the highest volume? What is in demand and trending right now? Obviously, if you are a reseller for clothing, you know that there's always fashion trends, and those fashion trends are constantly changing. That is what you have to look after, especially on the platform that you're selling on. So for example, we're talking about Mercari. So there are items on Mercari that are selling at a very high volume, that are trending right now, whether that's in electronics, whether that's in makeup, clothing, women's wear, men's wear, children's wear, that is something that will be very valuable for knowledge for you to know, is what items are in demand. Maybe you only sell women's clothing or only sell men's clothing. You should be looking up under the men's category exactly what items are selling right now. You also should look at what items are selling at a higher value. If you are looking to make more money on the platform, then take a look at the items that are selling at a higher value. And you can simply do this by putting in whichever category that you are selling out of. So let's talk about menswear. You can search the highest to lowest as far as cost. So if you want to see exactly what items are selling, maybe in jackets at the highest value of what it's selling for, and you want to look at the sold listings, then you are able to see what exactly those items are, and that will give you a better idea of what you have to search for the items that will sell at the highest value. Or maybe you're someone that doesn't really care about how much it's selling for as far as the value, but you want that faster flip. Then look at those items as well, and you can simply do that by just looking at the category, and you can see what brands are selling the most within that category. Maybe it is Lululemon, which that would be, I would say, a higher price point, a higher value. But maybe it's like an Abercrombie & Fitch or a Calvin Klein or a Michael Kors, things that will flip faster versus something that's more expensive that has higher value that might not be a fast flip, like designer or something like that. So I would highly suggest doing your research in finding what is selling at a higher volume and in demand and trending right now. You are not going to be able to have much success with selling items that are not trendy, that are not popular, no one really wants. Maybe during December and Christmas time when there's so many more people on the platform, but as you go into January, February, March, you need to be more selective on exactly what you are posting onto the platform, because there is a demand, and if you are serious about reselling and you want to increase your sales, you need to find the items that are in demand, that are selling right now. In January, February, March, what is selling right now at the highest volume, the highest quantity, trending, popular in your category that you sell in. And maybe this is a good time for you to switch over to a different category, and maybe you want to expand. This would be the prime time going into the first quarter of this year. All right, let's move on to tip number 3. My next tip for you all is to do your research in finding the competitive pricing. What are your competitors pricing their items at that you have the exact same items of? If you are selling a pair of UGG boots, you have to make sure that your pricing is competitive on Mercari with other people's pricing of the same UGG boots. And you want to beat those competitors. So if you have a pair of UGG boots listed at $100 and you see that so many people are liking that item, there's a reason why it's not selling. It's maybe because the price is just a little bit too high. So if you had yours at $85, I would say that would be an advantage for you within the competitive pricing. Obviously there's a niche there for that item, and people are wanting it, they're liking it, but they're not making that final purchase. And if you swoop in with a competitive price of maybe $15 less, $10 less, it gives you that advantage. And if you think about it in terms of retail, if you are going grocery shopping, for example, and you know that chicken at one grocery store is a few dollars more, and this is for people that care about watching how much money they spend. Some people don't care, but if you go to a grocery store and you see that, oh my gosh, chicken is like $5 more here versus this other grocery store, my husband and I would definitely go to the grocery store that sells that chicken at a lower cost per pound versus going to the grocery store that sells it at a higher cost. Same with milk, same with yogurt. The essentials that we typically buy, we typically like to go to grocery stores that have that same item at a lower cost. That's the same thing. Same with gas. Gas prices are so competitive. It's this exact same thing with reselling. You want to stay competitive within that market for the same item. That way that the person that is looking and really wanting to buy the item will choose yours because it's a better price. Tip number 4. So there's something called promoting the item on Mercari, and on Poshmark, for you Poshmark users, you know the name offers to likers. It's literally the exact same thing, but it's called promoting the item. You can do a public promotion, you can do a private promotion. The public one is you are dropping the cost and you're promoting it to all the people that have liked the item. The private one is you are sending a private discount or sale on that item. Maybe you're offering a lower cost in shipping, or you're just lowering the cost like 10% or more. That is a private promotion. So it's the exact same thing as Poshmark in the sense of offers to likers. I would suggest doing this as often as you possibly can. It just gives you a better opportunity to make a sale. I know that it's really annoying to not sell an item at full price. Maybe you list your item at a higher price so that the amount that you really want, you can send that offer out and you really are getting the price that you want, that amount. You can decide on exactly how you price your items, but I would suggest, only because I know that people on the platform are looking for a deal. That's just how it is. They want a deal. They want to feel good about their purchase. They want to feel like they accomplished something by buying it secondhand versus in the store. So I would highly, highly recommend promoting the item privately or publicly to get that discount out there. It also will refreshen that listing a little bit because you're creating something new to it. You're making a change to it. You're literally promoting the item. You're advertising it on the platform as on sale. So I would highly suggest that. I think the max is 10 per day. So if you can do 10 or maybe a little less than that per day, it's definitely worth it just to get maybe one sale. Tip number 5, and this is my very last tip, is providing the best customer service that you possibly can. And on Mercari, they actually reward you for this customer service. So you can get badges on Mercari, and I honestly can't remember every single badge and how you earn every single one, but I know a couple of them. One of them is shipping. So if you ship within the time frame, I think it's like 3 to 5 days, they have you as fast shipper, I think if it's within 3 days. So you want to get that badge. People want to see that you're shipping on time. The second one is responsiveness. So if you're responding to comments right away on Mercari, then you get this badge for being like a quick response, like you're responsive. Basically saying that you are getting back to the customer right away and that you are active on the platform. If it's someone that doesn't use the platform often, then they might not have this badge. It just makes you look more trustworthy. And the last one is reliable, and that's basically about, there might be another one too, but these are the ones that I know very well. So reliable is basically that you're not like canceling the orders or anything like that. And this will give you these badges, and basically these badges show the customer that you have this rating and that you're a good seller on the platform, and they look at you as more trustworthy. Think of it as going to a restaurant and you are looking up on Yelp and you see all of these reviews and these 5 stars. That's going to make you want to go to that restaurant. It's going to make you want to purchase the food. It's going to make you want to eat the food, and you look forward to it. And maybe that makes you want to go back to that same restaurant. So getting those badges and being responsive and having that good customer service will hopefully, potentially, the whole purpose is to make that customer want to come back, have a good experience, give you a good review, and that will also make other people want to be want to purchase from you as well. Those are my 5 tips. I hope you all found this helpful. I hope you try the Mercari platform. If you do any of these tips that I mentioned here, comment below. I'd love to hear your feedback on what works for you, what does not work for you. Do you like selling on Mercari? Do you not like selling on Mercari? I've heard so many mixed things. I would love to hear your feedback and how you enjoy the platform. If you do not use it, I definitely recommend doing it on the side just as another platform that you can cross-list your items on, and I would love to hear your feedback. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you are new, please stick around. I would love to have you here, and I'd love to have you part of my community on YouTube. So hit that red subscribe button down below, hit that little bell notification, and it'll just remind you guys whenever, it'll show you when I post a video, so that way you don't miss any of my videos. Give this video a thumbs up on your way out. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye guys.